In this video we shall talk about the next huge relational databases concept – relationships. So generally, relationship is an association among entities. Here we have some entities, here we have some association between them, and that association is a relationship. Technically, relationships are based on key migration. The primary key of parent relation migrates to child relation and becomes a foreign key. So here's our parent relation, child relation. We can see the primary key of the parent relation that migrates into child relation and becomes the foreign key here. There are a lot of relationship types. The main are one-to-many or many-to-one. We shall see that these relationships are the same. Many-to-many, one-to-one, and other types that we shall review in details in a couple of minutes. Let's start with the explanation of why one-to-many and many-to-one relationships are really the same. Let's review an example. Here we see employee and payment. So this is one-to-many relationship if we think that one employee has many payments. If we read this relation from right to left, thinking that many payments belong to one employee, we get many-to-one relationship. But this relationship is here. It doesn't change no matter if we read it from left to right or from right to left. So this is just one-to-many relationship, because reading it from the parent relation is usually easier. Here is the same example with data. If we think that one employee has several payments, here this is one-to-many relationship. If we think that many payments belong to one employee, this is many-to-one. But generally it's one-to-many is the same relationship, so that's why one-to-many and many-to-one relationships are the same. With many-to-many relationship, the picture looks a little bit different. Here we have no parent or child relation. We have only one relation and another relation, and they somehow related to each other with many-to-many approach. In order to achieve this situation, we have to create an association relationship, and we have to migrate primary keys from here to here and from here to here. So basically we have one-to-many and another one-to-many relationship, but combined all that creates many-to-many relationship. This is the same example with data. We have students here and subjects, and of course each student learns a lot of subjects, and each subject may be learned by a lot of students. So this is many-to-many relationship. This is our association entry. So the primary key from here migrates here, and the primary key from here migrates here. And data migrates also. We may see that this data is just copied. This is how many-to-many relationship looks like. The next type is one-to-one relationship. In this case, we have to make sure that each record from parent relation has no more than one record from child relation. How can we achieve this situation? We may get our foreign key and make it also primary key. So the result is so-called primary foreign key. Here we can see it. As long as it's primary, it has unique values. We cannot put here some duplications. So no matter how we try, we may link only one child record to any parent record. Here is the same example with data. We have persons, passports, and of course each person has no more than one passport. We may see that this primary key migrates here, and it's not only foreign key, but it's also a primary key here, so it's so-called primary foreign key. So we cannot add another 1, another 2, another 3 and any other value here, because we already have them here. We cannot add duplications here. And that's why each record from this parent relation may be related to only one record from this child relation. This one-to-one relationship is rather tricky. We have to have special cases in order to use such relationship. These cases include subject matter requirements. As we've already seen with those persons and passports, each person has only one passport. So that's one-to-one relationship, it's good here. The next is DBMS limitations. Imagine we have a table with a lot of fields and we need more fields, but we cannot add another. So we may create another table, add those fields there, and then link those tables with one-to-one relationship. The next is performance optimization. Imagine we have a table with a lot of data we rarely need, and with some few of data that we have to update often. We may split that table into two tables, one with that huge amount of data and one with few data, and then also link those tables with one-to-one relationship. The next special case we shall see in a minute, but before that we have to emphasize that we need to have hard evidence for one-to-one relationship to exist. If we do not have such, that's just an error, a mistake in your schema. And here is our special case for one-to-one relationships. Imagine some online shop for computer parts, and in such a shop a lot of products may have something in common. For instance, the category, the name, the price, the manufacturer, the amount in storage, and so on and so on and so on. These are common. And each of those parts have something special, like CPUs have frequency, core count, printers have type, pages per minute, and so on. That special parts of any product should be stored in separate tables. But those separate tables should be linked to this main table with one-to-one relationships. If you want to know official definitions of those relationship types, you may now pause the video and read the definition for one-to-many relationship, many-to-many relationship, and one-to-one relationship. And there's one thing left to discuss, those others types. What are those? Let's see. First, we have to understand what a relationship cardinality is. It's literally the number of elements on both sides of a relationship. That's how it looks like. As long as relationship always connects to relations, so here are our sides, the first and the second side. And we may see that here is one element, here are many. Here are many and here are many too, one and one. All these cases we've already seen. And there may be special cases. For instance, here we see that on this side we have from 0 to 1 elements. Here on this side we have from 1 to infinity of elements. Here we have exactly one element. Here from 0 to infinity. And the rarest case ever, here we have from 1 to 3 elements. Here from 0 to 5 elements. Such cases are really rare cases. But as you can see, there may be any combination. So there may be some x on one side, some y on the other side, and we may use such special things as triggers in DBMS to control those cardinality on any side of a relationship. But as you've probably understood, one-to-many is the only relationship that really exists in DBMS. All others are really imaginary for human convenience, but DBMS only uses this one-to-many approach to emulate any other types of relationships like one-to-one, many-to-many, or any x to y variants. The next thing to discuss is relationship properties. What if we have to not only show that a payment belongs to an employee, but we have to show a payment type, like, for instance, cash or wire? Here's the example. We cannot put this information here, because otherwise every payment for an employee should be either cash or wire. So the only place we made to put this information is here. That shows us that in one-to-many relationship, its property always stored in child relation. In many-to-many relationship, we have to use that association relation to store that property. Imagine that for a student and a subject, we have to store the mark that a student gets for the subject. We cannot put the mark here, because what's the point? What kind of mark is this? A mark for student in general? That's impossible. We cannot put it here, because otherwise it would be some kind of a mark for subject in general. But we can easily put it here. And so we may see that some Ivanov student was learning physics and got the 7 mark for that subject. So, with many-to-many relationship, that property is stored in association relation. With one-to-one relationship, the situation looks similar like in one-to-many. Imagine that we have persons, their passports, and we have to show either a passport is valid for traveling abroad or not. So we cannot put this information here, it's not a property of a person, but we may put it easily here, something like in this column or any other columns. So in one-to-one relationship, their properties are also stored in child relation. In the next video we shall continue discussing relationships, we shall talk about identifying, non-identifying relationships and some other useful things.